Good afternoon and good evening and g'day mate. Welcome back to Dyson Sphere with me, Jedi, and of course, Mr. Icarus, whose light can't turn on because it happens to be daytime. Because we're going to do this in reverse. Rather than waiting for the sunrise, we're going to do this at the evening because it turns out covering a planet in white foundation is probably a bit of a mistake. Last episode, we went and got obviously a tiny bit of extra rocket power. Plus, we put down a lovely sail setup to start launching some sails. The catch is, well, there's no sails. So we need to make some sails on this planet, which means that's going to be today's objective. Making a lovely sail build, obviously from raw materials, because our mining is so high. We're going to use raw material. This is why this planet was particularly chosen, because it has optical grading crystal. I have outposted the whole planet. We are ready to go. And we need to make sails. So sails require two items. They require graphene. Obviously, we're going to do graphene from fire ice, which means we need to bring in fire ice. We need to graphene will stay on site, and we're going to have to export the hydrogen. So let's start here. We're going to bring in graphene, hydrogen, and sails. Also, the other half of the sail recipe is the photon combiners. Photon combiners, as I said, there is a rare recipe, which is optical grading crystal plus circuit boards. Circuit boards are iron, copper, and optical grading crystal. We're probably going to want warpers in this blueprint. We might not need it on this particular planet because we have iron, we have copper, we have all the resources right here, but it doesn't hurt. The other thing we also have a problem with, which we should probably look at in this episode, is juice. Juice is the other thing we need to sort of take care of. We did, as said, import sails, which some showed up, not many, and maybe a little bit too much juice because I copied and pasted this. But we do have juice locally, so that's what matters. All right. With that said, to make sails, we need to let's come out a couple of tiles. Iron. Drag that out to there. Smelter is 3 deep. And I need 7 iron smelters, I think it is. Yeah, it is 7. I've got all the maths sitting in front of me. I've made notes on what we have to build and how we have to build it. We obviously going to juice this whole build. So, smelters first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When do I not build the belts too long? Alright. Import. Whoop. Export. Drag, drop. Okay, that's our first problem done. Second thing we need to do is we need to get copper. But before I get copper, I think I actually want to process the circuit boards in the middle. Now, conveniently, we only need 3 machines. We don't need a lot of circuit boards. But we will need them to output and feed out the rear towards our next build. Can I put you right about there? Okay. Which means I need that to be copper. And if we needed 7 for circuit boards, well, if we needed 7 iron smelters for circuit boards, we need twice the amount of iron as we did copper. We should only need 3 of these or 4? 3.08. So we're going to have to build 4 of them. We'll bring that belt out. And we'll call you copper ore. Which needs input. And we'll change you over to copper. And drag that to there. We need to juice that belt and juice that belt. We need you guys to grab in off the far belt, output to the belt right in front of you. Also grab some iron and drag those 3 together. Okay, so that's the easy part done. Yes, that's the easy part done. We can chop that, chop that, chop that. Okay, next thing we have to do, that's the iron belt. The iron belt can also be chopped off. Alright, next thing we need to do is we need to actually make some photon combiners. Now, photon combiners, I need 20 machines. Plus I need the optical grading crystal. So let's bring the optical grading crystal out next. And we'll bring that down to here. And I don't know, that's about 20 machines long, right? And we'll bring the circuit boards over beside that. Because I want to make this blueprint not only quickly, but simply. We don't need rocket science here. How many machines do we need? 20. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Done. The only thing we need to do is have an output belt. And obviously we're going to loop the output belt. Down 10 machines. I always do that. Always. Woohoo! 3 more drones. Excellent. That'll speed things up. Can I get that belt? And we'll drag that back to there. We will throw down our 10 machines on this side. We want that belt to come up. And get sprayed. I want to shuffle things along. Yeah, I really don't want this sticking out. Let's rethink things slightly. Okay, so that's optical grading crystal. That's the output. So let's go output belt dead straight. Let's zigzag that up 3 tiles. Let's zigzag that down 3 tiles. Yeah. 3, 5, 10, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cool. You go away. That belt gets disconnected. And we should be able to put the other 10 here. Output belt. The right tile. This is why we have the nightlight on at all times. But as you can see, if we turn this on, it's sort of yeah. That's why we're building in the dark for change. Now I could just put down some foundation, change up the colors, but I sort of like the urgency of trying to get this built in a hurry. Okay, so we need an input off the far belt, input off the close belt, input off the close belt, input off the far belt. You need output. You need output. We're going to set you up to do optical grading crystal with the rare recipe. Copy, paste, and clicky, draggy. Clicky, draggy. Okay, so that's those 2 done. This is going to give us... You need to be sprayed, and you need... Whoop, and you need to be sprayed. We need to bring spray into one of these 2 towers. We should probably get on to that fairly soon. Okay, next thing we're going to need is we're going to need to have graphene, one of the 2, which needs 10 chemical labs. So we're going to have an... no, we're going to do an input of hydrogen, which we'll do off this belt. Yeah. Then an output of fire ice, which we'll do on this belt. And morning does come. And then we'll have our next 5 there. We're going to set you to do graphene. You're going to be input, wrong recipe, other recipe, that recipe. Input, output hydrogen, output graphene, input, output graphene, output hydrogen. I'm not particularly happy with the way those sorters went, but, you know, we'll take it. I should probably copy that recipe first. Okay, so that's those done. Again, we need to spray the fire ice, which is that belt, plus we need to spray the output. After we have our 2 outputs, we have our 2 outputs, we just need to make the sails themselves. So sails, I think, due to the lack of space, we're going to bring the belt down there for our output. It's about to get real bright here. And I need 32 machines, which we're lucky, because that's a full drag of 15, plus 1. Alright, let's see whether we can get this completed before we end up blinded. Okay, so we need graphene to come to there. That's been sprayed. Plus we need optical grading crystal to go there. And if I'm lucky, we should be able to get that to pop up and over to that tile, down to ground level, and plug in there. We can rip up that bit of belt and throw down all those +1. Actually, we need an output. There we go. +1. That becomes our output belt, which will be sails, which we're going to bring up. Yeah, whose idea was it to make white sails on a white planet? And you know what? For neatness sake, yep, we're going to copy that. We're going to destroy it. I'm going to move it over one tile. Having an extra tile between two towers never really hurts. You're an input. You're an output. We need you guys to actually make sails, which should be input. Other way. Far belt, close belt, far belt, output, set you to do sails, copy, paste, and drag. Drag the rest of the way. And drag the rest of the way. So, if I've done this correctly, if I've got all the sorters in the correct directions, if I add juice, we should probably go juice. That's all been sprayed, so juice should be able to come out of this tower. Just a tiny bit. I think it's that tile. It's got pretty glary. It's that tile, it turns out. And into and through to the end. Come on. There we go. That should be everybody juiced up. Let's add... I don't have any shippies on me. Can I get all my little shippies? And can I also bring in just a touch of big shippies? 100 would be nice. And whilst we wait on that, I'll get some power poles done. Alright, as the sphere starts to set on our little build, we should be up and running. So, it should be a case of local demand. Helps if I had added some ships, and we'll throw in big shippies. We shouldn't really need them. We'll set you to storage, we'll set you to storage, we'll set you to demand, we'll set you to storage. We're also going to bring in warpers, just so it's a complete blueprint. I have hooked up a belt through to here, because we are actually going to need warpers for this one. After I add in ships, and we're also going to need juice. I probably should have imported the juice first. You know what? Give me just a touch. 500, that seems like heaps. Nah, the iron and the copper got out first, but that's okay. Alright. I also managed to get the sprayer on the wrong belt for, you know, the fire ice, but that's okay. It should be up and running. We should have a complete blueprint. Now let's see if I missed anything. So we have iron, which far too much of it got through. Oh no, it's all proliferated now. Apart from what's currently in all the sorters. But that's okay. We have proliferated iron and proliferated copper going to green circuits. Green circuits with critical photons. Optical grading crystal. Okay, optical grading crystal is still waiting to be juiced up, but it will be shortly. We can see it's juiced on the belt. You don't have green circuits. Why don't you have green circuits? Is everything still buffering? Yes, but we can see we have juiced. Yeah, so we're still buffering. There we go. You just got yours. You're about to get more eventually. We only need 2.5 machines. We've got 3. I overbuild everything just a little bit. Okay, fire ice is built wrong. Cool. This is why we check things. Let's remove all those sorters. Okay, so we're going to go input, output for hydrogen, output for graphene, input, output for hydrogen, output for graphene. See, this is why we do it wrong, so we can come back and fix up the mumbled mess that was our sorters. So that's now fixed. They've been sprayed, so we're literally just waiting for this build to get filled up with graphene, which we've just turned on, unfortunately. But that should give us a grand total of 30 cells per second. Also means I can set these guys to local demand. Yeah, we shouldn't need remote demand. Shouldn't. We're going to leave it on. But as soon as we get 200 in here, we should have one of these drones fly off and take them over there. The hydrogen is just going to be a waste product. It'll just get exported somewhere. And as always, you're going to find this blueprint on my Discord server when we're all said and done. I just want to make sure everything's firing properly. Well, you're backed up. Backed up is not exactly the right sign, but it is sort of. And you're all running. Yes, you're all running. And more importantly, we come up to the far end. You can see I've put double sorters on both of these, so when there's a gap, they get filled. And yeah, you've got 2 in there. You've got 0 in there. So we should be good. And we definitely have a full belt coming in every single second, which is great. And it also means that this build is quite simple. And most of the raw products are actually on this planet. We're gonna... You know what? Let's copy the blueprint. Let's save the blueprint, and you know what? Let's unhook that from being linked to Icarus. Very hard to see what I'm doing on white on white. Okay, chemical plants may be an issue moving this too far north and south, but we should be able to put a blueprint there. Let's say a blueprint there, and that's 90 sales. Is 90 sales enough? Is 90 sales enough is the real question. Throw shippies in there, shippies in there. Can I get that one built, please? Shippies in there, shippies in there. Super power pole to connect the 2. Shippies in there, shippies in there. Come on, I want this one built. Shippies in there, shippies in there, and I think 120 is a better number. So let's put a blueprint here. Oh, I think that's the answer. Just more is better. More is better. Always more is better. And especially if we keep running our research like we are, we'll have more than enough bots that we can get this sort of stuff built just about instantly. We're gonna need a connecting power pole. Shippies, shippies. As long as I don't run out of shippies, we'll call this a win. Shippies and shippies. No, I still have 86. I don't know how I get 186 from time to time. Okay. So, as the sun starts to rise on the planet, we now have 120 sales per second added to our collection, which means, number 3, yeah, that sort of fixed the problem. We're chewing 6.9 per hour, and we're up to 6.5 last minute. We're up to 7.9. We're up to 8,000. So that probably solves that problem. On top of that, this planet should actually have maybe the iron's a bit low. Maybe we'll set that for remote. We'll set that for remote. We'll set that one for remote, and we'll set that one for remote as well. In theory, they'll get fed by the local after they're fully, charged up and, the stockpiles are full. But from there on, they should get supplied from You running? You're having a fire ice issue. Okay. We got ships out getting them. Okay, but then from there on, they should get supplied with local resources. Okay, so the next thing we definitely have to go look at is this problem. Because that's a little bit worrying. And it turns out I have no idea where it went. I can't find the blueprint for our Proliferator build. And yet, twice the amount of launches into those Dyson Spheres will probably help. So I need to find the Killingsworth system, which is the dead one. Killingsworth! Let's go head across to Killingsworth and see what the story is. Good job, Icarus. Second good job. It's fine. It's autopilot. It doesn't have to work perfectly. It just has to get us there in one piece. So we need to head across to Killingsworth. We need to see what the story is with our Proliferator build. At the same time, maybe copy it once or twice or 3 times if there's any room left on the planet. There is also a chance that it is a root problem with the coal. The coal looks okay because we have peaks that go well above, but it's sort of worrying me. This I'm much more comfortable with. This, not so much. 1 hour. Coal. It's slightly above? It's a bit more peaky like that. But we will see. In the meantime, research, we're chewing through this one at 32,000. Oh, we also need to find a planet for setting up another carrier rocket, because we're well past our production rate. We do have one hell of a buffer, because that was one of the things we made sure. We made sure we had one hell of a buffer with the build, because one of those builds, once it starts, you probably don't want to turn it off. Okay, so, whoop, there we go. There's one of the achievements that we've removed. You don't have coal. That's why you don't have coal. Whoa. That tells me that we probably have plenty of coal out there in the planet, out there in the world. Okay, so you're running, you have some goo. You're running and you have some goo. You obviously don't get goo. This is our old Mark II injection goo from previous builds, which we can, I would say, rip up because that looks very empty. You're fine for resources. You're fine for resources. Again, we can rip up that, plus that, plus that, plus that. I just moved all the Mark II here, Mark II goo here myself. No, they're all running. You can't output. Did I overbuild it? No. I kind of overbuilt it. Did I underbuild it? Oh, you guys are not getting your Mark II fast. Your Mark I fast. Maybe we need to double check our belts. Yeah, the last few here are not running. Okay, you are in theory running. You are in theory running. You're in theory running, and as are you. Yeah. And yeah. The last few here are not running, the last few there are not running. Okay, you're running and you're running. Okay, so let's look at the build and let's have a look-see. So, we can see that this belt's coming out at full speed, but there might be more than 30 items per second on the belt. The fact that the last few here are not running, and then green-wise, we should be fine. So it may mean that we need to look at boosting the speed of this belt. We could add piling to it, which is such a wonderful name. I love them. I love the name piling. We're just going to pile on. Okay, so let's try as an experiment. We'll put that there. We'll hopefully not remove the marker. No, you won't work there. Okay, let's move forward a tile. And we'll plug that in there instead. Okay, because it's piled, no. we'd have to pilot halfway through the build. Okay, we can do that. We can do that. Hang on. There's more than one way to skin a cat. We can add one build on the end, which works. And you are how many long? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So I want to come back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and delete you. Okay. And then if we add a piler right there, I can remove my zigzag, take that and plug that into there how it was originally. We should pile the first half of the build. No, I don't want to pile a half. I want to pile just more than a half. So let's do you instead. And we'll go to you and empty all the Mark 1 juice out of my inventory. And empty the Mark 3 out of my inventory. And empty the coal out of my inventory. And that seems to be running. The belt has gaps. Okay. Belt has gaps is a good sign. We come down here. Last machine is running. And then we look at this side. 1, 5. Last machine is running. Perfect. Okay. So that was our mistake. We need to add one to the end, and after the third machine, put in a piler. If there's enough room. Okay, so let's just see if we can fit one in here. Third machine. Belt. Oh! It'll actually fit beside the smelter. It's like past Jedi planned for us. He planned to make a screw up, and then he planned a way to fix it. Okay. With that done... No, you don't get power. Really? That one get power? What's the difference? Absolutely none. Different curvature of the world. That is the difference. That's part of the builder below. Right, I just put a power pole there. Alright, with that done, I'm going to go through and I'm going to fix each one of these builds because we sort of need to. We need the extra juice. So, with all the builds fixed and the one that I just refixed because I put the piler in the wrong spot. It's fine, it's fixed. We can definitely see sales as definitely increased. And juice has been in a slow incline. 11k. We're using 9. It's still an awful lot, but you know, it's doing better. Also means we can grab that whole blueprint and we're going to call this 30 juice. It's actually a bit over 30 juice per second, so we're just going to save that temporarily. I actually thought that was the build, but that is different to that. So we have that. We're going to remove the foundations. Perfect. And we need to find somewhere to place this. Maybe not now, but definitely in the future. Next thing I want to do, because we're bouncing around all over the place, is I want to pop it over to... I made it here without warpers. Because, believe it or not, this is one of the first planets we went to. We went to the Philip Simmons planet because that had silicon. We didn't have any silicon. And we haven't really been back here since. Even after we got, like, Dyson Tech. Which means it doesn't show up on my list at all. Which is a bit of a problem. Actually, let's turn that on for a second. Like, it doesn't have a Dyson Sphere. So we need to do something about a Dyson Sphere. Let's turn that off as well. Actually, speaking of this one, how are we going? We are up to... The shell's almost done for the first one, but sales is lagging behind. But now seeing our launch rate, I think sales are going to be doing a little bit better. 20,000 being absorbed constantly. Perfect. And production, obviously, for sales is fine. Science, actually, science is not running. We should probably do something about that. Where are we up to on those upgrades? We're down to 17. That one cost 96. Next robot costs 128. With 128, I think we're going to do this a few times. Yeah, just a few. Maybe 2. We'll do a 98. And energy circuit, why not? Power, let's get over 20 gigawatts. This should bring us to a brand new planet. Perfect. I like brand new planets. And the sun rises in the west. This one is a reverse rotation planet, which is another achievement done. I want to put all the infrastructure on. Actually, do we want to launch from this planet? Good question. Add new layer. Well, it's not inside the ring. So, I guess it doesn't matter. Where is it in relation to the sun? Fair distance away. The other one is our water world. We could pop out to the water world, and we probably haven't populated this gas giant. Because when we came out here, we didn't really have orbital collectors. Never mind. We've definitely populated that gas giant. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is we're going to grab our temporary blueprint, which was power rockets and rails. That's a lot of room. We just covered titanium at that end. Okay, we're going to come in here. We're going to add our 2 new grids. Tight, tight, tight. And actually, you're meant to be maximum, aren't you? Edit. Crank that up. Done. And maybe you weren't meant to be maximum. 90 and 90. No, I think you're meant to be minimum. See, this is the problem. I got a head cold. You might not sound it, but trust me, no. Yeah. Brain power does lack. Okay, this is another one of those lovely hurricane stone forests, which means technically we can get a lot of soil pile from this planet as well. Which means I want to dump down rockets and sails. We're going to drop that right there. Again, I seem to be short on some materials, but that should be fine. I also need to adjust this requests. No, that's plenty. And 2,000, that's plenty. And I need to change you to remote demand. Alright, we've called in all the building blocks that we were missing. We even have power up and running. We have rockets inbound and delivered. The only thing we're waiting on, in never mind, they're perfectly here, is the cannons. Cannons are now in and placed. So the only thing I need to do is I just need a Dyson Design, because we don't obviously have a Dyson Design on this planet currently. You'll need juice, which you would get from there if I bothered to put shippies in there. And it now means I can delete those 80. Delete. And why do I have 11? Just delete them. That's my answer. Can I get little shippies? And big shippies? Cool. And you're up and running. We're firing sails off already, which is bad. Oh, what angle are you at? You're at 3. Okay, so we're probably going to have to come in here. We're going to have to tilt 3 down. Yeah, 3's too high considering how close we are. We're going to change that down to 22.5 then. Click the OK button and everybody's happy again. Perfect. All right, we need a Dyson Design. And there's a web page, DysonSphereBlueprints.com. Okay, people have uploaded all sorts of blueprints. I'll actually be uploading my blueprints there eventually. And what we're going to do is we're just going to grab one of the top rated spheres, I think, on there. And we're just going to click paste. And this is beefy gyroscope. Because why not? Like I said, I hate designing spheres myself. And being able to copy and paste them from somebody else sounds like a great idea. This is a 3-layered sphere, which I'm not going to say no to. And hopefully it looks pretty when it's built. But it does mean that we now have cannons firing, we now have rockets firing, we have another planet down and dusted. I unfortunately need to foundation it because we probably want soil. Which we have 82 million. We're probably okay. What does this planet have? This has no coal. It does have titanium, it does have silicon, it does have copper, it does have iron. How much blank space? Oh, it's got a lot of blank space. You know what? I think we're going to cut out this episode here because I am going to fix our rocket problem by... Oh, I did save that blueprint. That's where I saved it. Where are we? We were going to go endgame... Nope. Late game blueprints. Rockets. The game accepted it. The game likes it. I just need a few thousand parts. So I'm going to get cracking on this. And it will technically at the same time give me a whole punch pile of soil pile as we flatten the planet out. Putting down all these structures. But I'm going to call this episode here. Like I said, we've got a bit of research to do. We've got a bit of things to build. And obviously I need to bring in a lot of spare parts. Like a lot of spare parts. So I'll see you guys in the very next episode where I don't know what we're going to do. Probably just keep to expanding. Oh no, actually we need to build a lot of spheres. Like a lot of spheres. So we'll look at that in the next episode. But yeah, I'll call this here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the very next episode. Alright, bye.